Siami, Salami. My name is Sayyami. There have been people who have said that, oh, your lips are so thin, your nose is so small. There's constant judgment on the way you look from the beginning of your career. Someone like an Anurag Kashyap who backs you, holds your hand, and tells you that, you have it in you, just keep the faith. It's a very big deal.
निद्रा में किसने याद किया रे
आलू को आलू ही खिलाऊंगी ना। पनीर खाना है तो पनीर बनो।
Sayami, thank you so much for joining me on Coffee Time with Riya. I cheers you with my cup of coffee.
And to you too. Thank you so much for having me over.
So I know that you're not a coffee person, and I bet you have got that full of chocolate syrup and whatever that you like it as. How do you manage to still look this fit?
I really enjoy my chocolates and pizzas and biryanis. I just make sure that I put in the 1.5 hours of exercise every day, and I think you can eat everything in moderation and you'll be okay.
Okay, now if there is anyone जिसके लिए 2020 बहुत अच्छा जा रहा है, despite the pandemic, and we're not really talking about that, it has been you. So how has how's it been for you? I mean, the fact that people really were bowled over by your performance in Choked, then obviously Special Ops came, before anything else, and now there is Breathe Into the Shadows. You're giving that entire Julia Roberts Pretty Woman vibe to your character. So that's something very, very interesting.
It's actually been really overwhelming because it's the work that I've been doing the past year and a half. I had actually signed on Breathe before I signed on Choked and Special Ops. So the chronology was Breathe, then Choked, and then Special Ops, but it came like they all released Ulta. I'm just really happy that people have liked my work, and finally there's some kind of appreciation coming in from the audience, and it feels really, really good. So I'm still very overwhelmed with the response.
Now, I will talk about Choked because that's one film that was really, something that I really loved. And other than it being an Anurag Kashyap venture, there's something about the story that you just feel connected to, and the performances were the winner of this film. When people saw you, as Sarita, they could not recognize you. The way you have transformed for that character is really amazing. So when you were actually going through your look test, did you feel that you would pull off somebody with that no makeup look? Because you're being represented as obviously being an actor in the industry. People are known for the glamorized perception that they have. So going completely no makeup and being very out there, as this middle class banker, how did that come about when it comes to the looks of it?
Actually, I did not have any look tests for the film because Anurag sir is someone who doesn't believe in look tests and rehearsals and recce's. He's not that kind of a filmmaker. He had signed me. I mean, I've still not signed the contract for the film, but he had told me about the film in 2017 when he met me at Mami, and he said it so casually, saying that ye picture hai karna hai, to let me know. And after I read the script, I completely loved the script, and I just felt that to get to play a character like Sarita so early in my career, I felt just an opportunity which I didn't want to let go of. So the de-glamness or the playing a mother, these things never really concerned me because it was just a opportunity to be able to kind of break the image that people had of me, of whatever they had kind of this glamorous image that people had created of me. It was a good way of breaking out of this mold. And in fact, because Anurag didn't kind of start the film, I went and did a look test myself with the writer of the film to kind of remind AK that okay, we have to do this film. So I went and got my friend's son, and we got the saris, and we did a whole look together. We put the look together, and the night before I'd gone for like some GQ awards or something, so my hair was straightened out. तो उसमें ये जो भी मेसी हेयर था, थोड़ा कर्ली हुआ था, स्ट्रेटन था, we kind of did a choti and did the whole look ourselves. and AK was so excited. He was like jumping and dancing because he kind of had not pictured Sarita in any particular way, and then he saw this look test and he said, "This is Sarita, and we're not going to change anything about the look." And that's the same look which we used 2 years later when we shot.
That's really great, and that's some story that you have behind that. Bringing about that look. Special ops, I believe, was something that actually brought you out there from that hibernation. I mean, not obviously it's not a self-exile, but you have gone on record and said that when you did not get the kind of films that you wanted to do after Mirzya, there was a proper struggle period for 3 or 4 years for yourself, for you after 2016, that big debut that you had. Do you see that perception of people changing with this good year and with this touchstone of success that you've had with these three, these projects that you've done in 2020? Has that perception changed? And do you think the same people who were not ready to actually bank on you are willing to be associated with an actor like yourself?
I really hope so, because with Breathe and Special Ops, I both the places I had smaller roles in the series, and which is something which I knew when I got into it, that the screen time is probably not as much as what a Choked or a Mirzya was, but they were just roles which were different from what I was getting offered, or they were just, to be able for an actor to be able to be a raw agent and then a middle class banker and then a escort. They're just very different roles, and I felt that kind of was giving me more versatility as an actor. So even if it is 15 minutes of just screen presence, I felt that it has been noticed, because it just gives, like, most of the reactions on my social media have been that, oh, we didn't recognize you in Choked at all, and then we said, oh, she can also be a middle class wife, and she's also being an escort. So these reactions are actually very satisfying for an actor. So with Special Ops, there was also I actually signed it last, so I signed it after Choked had been shot, and we shot for it much later. So my reason to doing it was purely because I was getting to play a different character, getting to work with Neeraj Pandey, getting to do action, and I really enjoyed the script. I thought it was a very well written script, so I was very happy to be a part of that script. And Breathe was something I'd signed on first, and then I signed Choked. So with Breathe, again, I was getting to play a very different character, reference point of Julia Roberts, which was very exciting to even imagine. So it was just exciting as an actor to get to play different roles more than anything else.
You have worked with three big names in this year. It's Neeraj Pandey, Anurag Kashyap, Mayank for Breathe. So these associations obviously speak volumes about the kind of work that you're doing. You started off with Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra. When we see more and more, big sort of faces, I'm talking about the film industry faces coming onto the OTT bandwagon. Abhishek obviously made a debut. Nitya made a debut with Breathe. There is Sushmita Sen, who's already made a debut. Do you see more and more, high profile, and I'm sorry to use that word, but the bigger actors, the big league, making that sort of shift to the OTT space? Because now you're more and more direct to digital releases. It started with as big a film as Gulabo Sitabo. While it's also good to see these people, it could also be a deterrent for all the lesser known faces who have made a mark on OTT.
Is, when you say like the bigger names are moving on to the OTT space, I feel we also had a Patal Lok which had names which probably were not so known as probably Abhishek's name is. So I think as long as we can maintain that balance where we have shows where people are being cast genuinely for fitting the roles, I think if we maintain that balance, it will be a very good mix to have. I've heard that Akshay sir is going to do a digital show for one of these, I think Amazon or Netflix. So it's very exciting to see the big stars come and do digital shows and become more relatable with shows which you can just sit at home and watch. But at the same time, I want to watch a Delhi Crime and I want to watch a Patal Lok, because these things connect with you in a different way.
Okay. Now, before you finish your cup of coffee, I have a little game for you. Like I told you. So this is my version of Never Have I Ever. Now, I will give you situations. Okay. If you have done it, you will take a sip, as simple as that. And you will tell me the little story behind it, if you have done it. Okay? So ready? All right.
Let's go.
So Take a sip. If you are so used to having people mispronounce your name that you don't even bother correcting them now.
So I have to take a sip of I have done this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Sayami. It comes from the word Sayam, which is a Sanskrit word which means self-control. But all my life, I've heard the funniest being Siami, Salami. I've heard like very strange names instead besides my name. So you rightly said, sometimes I don't bother correcting people.
Because I have seen your interviews, and there are times where you actually introduce yourself. Like, people ask you to just say that I'm so and so, watch this thing or whatever.
Yes.
You have just called yourself Sayami here, and the interviewer goes ahead and calls you Sayami. So that's very weird. They don't really take notice, and they've just taken it for granted that it is going to be a yeah. Okay.
True.
Take a sip. If you could have been a sports person, if you were not an actor. And which sport would you have played?
I mean, I would have loved to be because I would have been completely immersed in sport as a child, and I still continue to be with, people see it on my social media. I used to play badminton, but I realized I wasn't good enough because, by the time you're 16, and if you're not playing at like probably playing for India, you can't really make it a profession to say. So I kind of took a back seat, and cricket was something which I was constantly being called for, but I was already training for badminton, and then I got into film, so I never really pursued it seriously.
Okay, all right. Now take a sip. If you have ever been a crazy fanboy to a celebrity, a sports person, or a film star, if you have been, who is it?
Yeah. So I'm starstruck by only two people, Roger Federer and Sachin Tendulkar, and probably nobody else. There's no third one, but they're just two people who I've admired ever since I've been very young, and that continues to be the case.
You've met both of them. I mean, briefly, Roger Federer, Sachin, you have met. What was your fan moment when you actually saw the person that you admire in front of your eyes? What did you get very awkward? What was it for you?
I was extremely awkward because I just kept smiling like a little child all the time, and I mean my hands were sweaty and I was nervous and I was just smiling and I couldn't speak. So it was just like I was tongue tied the whole time.
Okay, take a sip. If you have ever gone skydiving, since you are the adventure friendly person, have you skydived? You have.
Yep, I skydive. It's one of the most exhilarating experiences of my life. I probably did it 7-8 years ago when I'd gone to Mauritius with my family for a holiday, and it was beautiful because the weather was good, so kind of got to see the whole island when we dived, and it's something I'd love to do again, and just something which was very exciting.
Tell me something. There are various facets to your personality. Iron Man, you were training for that in Netherlands to go for that. Obviously the lockdown happened. We are in an industry that we typecast easy. So people will not really relate that, an actor, a Bollywood sort of an actor who's very interested in, let's say, the Iron Man. So that's something very different about you. How did you think that you should be doing it?
I actually, like I mentioned, I'm very engrossed and immersed in my sport, and it's something that's kept me very sane and kept me alive. And I had kind of taken to marathon running. I've done 2 full marathons, done around 20 odd half marathons, and it's just something that gives me a goal, gives me like some kind of something which I need to work on myself. So if you work hard, then you can complete the race. So I really enjoy taking part and challenging myself. So after a full marathon, the Ironman was my next target and next goal, and I'm really waiting for things to settle down and be able to do it and be able to finish it.
Take a sip. If people are still convinced that you are related to Anupam Kher and you don't feel like correcting them again.
All the time, I keep getting it on my social media all the time. And I think this is because
they didn't get
Anupam sir actually had tweeted during Mirzia saying good luck and beta, and he said beta. So people kind of just put 2 and 2 together, and that's when the whole confusion started. So yeah, I keep getting it all the time.
So, actually, for them, you are Anupam Kher's daughter.
Yes.
Tell me something. You are in your farmhouse in Nashik. You have it's been almost 3 months for you over there.
Yes.
From your social media posts, obviously, I'm seeing that you are making the most of the nature and the beauty of nature around you. I know it tends to get monotonous because that's the view that you've been born in. That's yours. But the fact that you have, like, I saw you digging a compost pit, in your
Yes.
farm, that's something that you did. And the fact that you were digging it yourself, it's like, man, great. So you are actually going about those things also. So isn't it pretty, I mean, aren't you pretty sorted there? Like, okay, in the lap of nature and, the best thing that can happen, better than going back to Mumbai right now where cases are really spiraling out of control.
No, that I absolutely agree with that. I'm blessed that I've come to Nasik because I also have space to run around, and like just the compound of my house is big enough, so I do my like running and exercise here. The digging a compost pit, you realize how unfit you are because these are just like gardening can be something which is very tiring and tedious. So just being able to even do that has been a new form of exercise for me. Or I've befriended a peacock, and he comes here ever so often. So there have been a lot of positives of being around in nature, but it's just about being with like just close friends, which I think these are things that we took for granted before lockdown happened, just being able to spend the evening with a bunch of friends and things like that, and getting back on work and traveling, and everything now seems like such a it feels so far away.
And the fact that I mentioned that compost pit also was an interesting comment by Sobhita on your post. And she mentioned that if I had posted the same video, people would have thought that I killed someone's child and I'm actually digging, a pit to actually bury. So I'm talking about the social media hate that many actors and influencers, especially females, get. And now that people have so much of time being at home, that has been spiraling out of control. Like, we very recently saw what that guy Shubham Mishra posted, that toxic masculinity that we saw on display. Now that he's obviously been arrested by the police. But the fact that when people have the audacity and the guts to go ahead and do it, not really bothering about the repercussions, that speaks volumes about the kind of hateful society that we're living in.
True. I mean, it's something which has been going on for some time, and I actually find it, male or female, I find it really sad when people use social media to kind of spread negativity and spread hate, because there's already so much negativity going on with the pandemic right now. So the last thing you want to do is spread more hate and more negativity. And I don't understand what it is with people, and trolls, and I don't get it. A lot of times I'm not very social media and social media friendly, because I feel lots of times people have too many unnecessary opinions, and they want to speak about every single thing even if it doesn't concern them. And I feel sometimes it's okay not to have opinions about everything, especially if you are not informed about certain things. First you need to get yourself informed before you go and make comments about things. So I feel that we need to also be very responsible before we speak. But I feel that even us, you and me, who have an opinion on social media, we should always be a little wary before we go and put out what we feel. That's something which I feel very strongly about.
Okay, now before I let you go, I have to also talk about that very heartfelt post that you wrote for Anurag Kashyap. And the line that I take away from that is when you said that you believed in me when I myself had stopped believing in myself. Uh, that's a huge thing to say. And you're coming from a place who has actually an actor who's seen the kind of rejections after that really grand debut that you probably would have wanted to work, but it did. Uh, what do you take back? If I have to ask you, life after Choked, what do you take back from the film and the association, the people who you work with?
For me, fortunately, Choked and Breathe and Special Ops has been appreciated in a big way, and it feels really good. So I'm not being ungrateful about it. It feels very, very good, and I'm very thankful to the people who have liked it. But for me, every film, be it Mirzya, be it Mauli, be it anything that I've done, for me, the biggest takeouts is if I build equations and relationships with people I've worked, and I feel for me that is the biggest success. I with Mirzya, Rakesh sir, Gulzar Saab are people who I can fall back to at any point in my life, and I feel that's the biggest thing that I've got out of Mirzya, because if I have people who Gulzar Saab, who's just a man with so much wisdom, if I can go to him and kind of chat with him whenever I feel like, it's a very big deal. And maybe people don't think so, but for me, it's a very big deal. So I feel even with Choked, the adulation it's gotten, the stuff people have said to me, it makes me feel very good. But lot of times people don't know this, that actors are just very insecure inherently, because this might take a little time, my answer, so please bear with me. So I feel the actors get judged on very quickly. Like if an engineer doesn't do well in the factory he's working, the 200 people in the factory know, and the boss will shout at him, and that's about what it would be. For an actor, you get judged on the way you look, so you are basically completely, so there have been people who have said that, oh, your lips are so thin, your nose is so small. So there's constant judgment on the way you look at all, like from the beginning of your career. When you're on a film set, people behind the camera, there are 200 people on a film set when you're working, and in case you're forgetting your lines or you're messing up for whatever reason, you can start hearing like people just murmuring, saying "Are kya hai? Kaun hai?" So all these things at some point kind of start playing on your mind all the time. So you need to be and then when you get success, as the society terms as success, you kind of then start going back to, okay, this is how it feels. But I don't think that's very right, because you need to be secure even when you're not successful. If you're an actor, you need to have security when you're not successful, because that's the most important time to be secure. And in every actor's life, you'll start questioning yourself. Like even right now in lockdown, I'm so nervous saying, will I be able to act once things resume, or will I forget how to act? So these insecurities keep cropping up in every actor's life. And when there's someone like an Anurag Kashyap who backs you, holds your hand, and tells you that you have it in you, just keep the faith, it's a very big deal. So for me, at that point in my career, it was a very big deal. 2 or 3 years ago, when he said he'll make the film with me and then backed me on it, so the post was just something which came from my heart, because there were very few people who backed me, and he was the one who did.
That's really great. And the fact that you said it so beautifully, that pretty much sums my interview and what Sayami Khair has been for me, and whatever little I got to know through this interview. Thank you so much, Sayami, for doing this. And how many people get to say that you have befriended a peacock? You are living in the lap of luxury, literally. So that's my take back from this interview. Thank you so much for doing this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Please stay safe until we meet in real.
Yes, thank you. See you.
Thank you.